Welcome back, my computer tutors. I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. Which one do you want first? Well, you're getting the bad news. The bad news is I'm probably going to abandon this world. I just don't think that the biomes are large enough. There was an option to select large biomes when I generated the world, and I neglected to check that box, which is, that's on me. But also, there's good news. The good news is that I found a seed for a world with plentiful, enormous oceans with lots of deep sea biome area to build in. So I'll have a much easier time finding some place to actually build a large colony. That doesn't mean I'm going to give up right away because it would kind of be blue balls after I built so much of this base. I at least want to finish this base before we move on. That's something to look forward to. You will see a giant colony get built ultimately. It's just going to take a little while longer. Because I do want to finish what I started here. I don't know why, but it would kind of be a shame, wouldn't it? And I'm not going to waste your time on the new map with watching me start from absolute scratch. I'm only going to start recording once I already have the deep sea pod in place. Because it's such a long, tedious slog just to get to the point where you have all the resources you need to build that initial pod that I don't want to make you wait through that. Because I love you. Well, some of you. Only the right-handed people. That's almost weirder than being conventionally bigoted, isn't it? If someone's bigoted about something really unusual without any, like, understandable reason. Like, oh, I hate people with freckles. Why? Maybe they look shifty and untrustworthy. I don't know. Or if somebody, like, hates an ethnicity you've never heard of. Like, oh, fucking Tunisians. God damn it. They fucking come here from Tunisia and do Tunisian things. Or like Algerians. These are places. These are real. I didn't make these up. Go watch the Animaniacs, all the countries in the world music video. Yeah, that was a great show, Animaniacs. It was really intelligent for a children's cartoon. It was a lot of it was just in jokes that you're not going to get unless you know something about like Hollywood politics and film history. That just made it more charming. And the stuff was funny on its own, even if you didn't understand the basis of it. A lot of the stuff they couldn't get away with today, like Hello Nurse, Fat Baby was one of the funny segments. It was just an egg-shaped baby doing stuff. The thing is, it's unavoidable that as your audience increases in size, necessarily there's going to be a larger range of opinions present, and thus the odds go up with audience size that somebody will be offended by something that you said. And the only way to not avoid anybody is to be as bland as possible, like fucking Marmaduke or Family Circus. Maybe that was funny to prior generations. I think there's a generational gap in humor. Because, when I go visit my parents for dinner, like once a month, I should probably see them more often, but I don't, I'm not Jewish or anything, so I don't have a nagging Jewish mother like, why don't you come visit me? Oh no, a stereotype. They're pretty chill about it. They understand I have shit to do. But then I feel like I'm gonna regret that later when they're really old and especially after they've died. I'll feel regretful about the time I didn't spend with them. Anyways, what was I? I was telling a story of some kind. Oh yeah, You know, my mother, God bless her soul, um, the things that she thinks are funny are like the stuff that makes it onto the cover of onto the onto like gift cards, not or like Hallmark cards where there's like a puppy and a kitten and the puppy is dressed like a rooster or something. Just shit that there's no punchline to it, and she just thinks it's the most hilarious, remarkable thing she's ever seen. She's the kind of mother who is not a grandmother yet. I mean, I haven't had a condom break, so that's not happened. But she laughs at grandmother type stuff and like will forward me emails of photoshopped pictures that she just thinks are the funniest thing. And I feel bad because I want to laugh. I don't want it to be like, that's stupid, you're not funny, and this isn't funny. But it's really unbearable stuff. It's in a sense, it's almost funny on an anti-humor level. If that's the angle she's going for, then maybe I didn't give her enough credit. And my sense of humor is like offensive and unbearably crude to them for some reason. Is it just desensitization that every generation gets desensitized to what was funny a generation before, so they have to keep pushing the envelope? And like what we consider to be a tame joke today would flabbergast like a pre-industrial peasant. Like, why did the chicken cross the road? And they would just be so offended by that they would get their sword out if they had a sword. Probably if they're peasants, they don't own a sword. Because you don't let your serfs arm themselves. That's not something I think people don't understand about gun ownership. That it doesn't matter who's in office right now. Owning a gun is a good idea, ultimately. You would think that the people who are talking about Donald Trump putting people in concentration camps would think, hey, maybe those people should be armed, and this wouldn't happen. But the people who should have guns because they're actually under threat every day, like gays living in like gay unfriendly parts of the world or parts of the United States even, women, just transsexuals, the people who actually face violence daily don't want guns, and the people who don't face violence and don't need guns are the only ones who want them. What the fuck is up with that? Where's the sense in that? It just bothers me. It's gonna look janky anyway because now I've put stone up there. So now you've got all these dudes who have no problems in the world. They're just paranoid, and they have Rambo fantasies, stockpiling guns, and eventually they're going to shoot somebody. And then you have the people who are actually beaten to death or raped with alarming frequency, and they don't want guns. Guns are icky to these people. It beggars belief. It's confusing. And the people you think would not want them to have guns, like the right-wing pro-gun people, you'd expect to say that, you know, we don't want transsexuals and women and, you know, gays and minorities having guns. They're gung ho for it. They're like, yes, get a gun. Because they believe that it's about taking responsibility for protecting yourself and protecting the people you care about. Should be enough. So at the very least, whether they're right or wrong, they believe what they're saying. I think I only need one for that. I have to do math in this game. It hurts. And the stuff they say about every historical genocidal regime disarming their population first, I see a lot of articles implying that's not true, but then the details, you actually read the article, and it's like, okay, well, it's true, but here's some mitigating factors, blah, 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 blah. It is true. If you want to kill people, you got to get the guns out of their hands first. If you're looking to commit mass murder. Let's see. I think they just heard the people they disagree with politically saying anti-government things so much that they just associate that with every other ugly view that those people hold. So they just don't want to hear it, and they're not open to the idea. When really, gun ownership should not be a partisan issue. It should be something that it's a tool, and it's a thing to have and be responsible with and take care of in the event that you're at the mercy of somebody you can't reason with. Which, if you're a fucking spurg, then you know what that's like. You've spent most of your life at the mercy of people you can't reason with. Not, that I'd ever want to shoot them. I think if I were to buy a gun, I would buy rubber bullets or something, because those will have stopping power and injure the fuck out of somebody, but not necessarily kill them. Okay, that's what I need to do. I need to go to the surface and harvest sand, which is why I really should have used more. Hold on, I should go back down and make more shovels then, because I'm going to break this shovel harvesting sand. Also, how the fuck did nuclear power become a partisan issue? That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. It's an objectively good idea. And most of the problems with the nuclear power plants are because we haven't been allowed to build any new ones since like the 50s and 60s. If we were to build newer, safer designs, most of those problems would go away. Did I use all my metal? I used all my metal. I have 2 shovels anyway. What am I doing? Fuck off. I don't want Girl Scout cookies. They're poison. The Thin Mints are so delicious, but you can't just... You're guaranteed to eat the entire roll of them, no matter how hard you try not to. The shit it says on the package about serving sizes is bullshit. They know you're gonna eat the entire roll. It's like sushi. Chocolate sushi. Oh, that's gross. What have I done? Well, good thing there's an entire fucking desert here. And in fact, on the new map, there's a bunch of different biomes around the oceans too, so sailing in basically any direction will get you to a different biome, which will get you all the shit you need to create an underwater colony that has all the stuff that the surface world has. So I've been thinking, as I sometimes do, while naked in the bathtub. I bathe naked because I'm a pervert like that. Where should BioShock go next? I really liked seeing more of the Rapture lifestyle in BioShock 2, like when we got to see how they educate their children. Another game of just stuff like that, where Rapture is still thriving, and it's not even a shooter necessarily, but it's some other type of game that's just set in Rapture. Maybe you're like a private eye or something. And you get to just be a fly on the wall to see how people lived. Or, you know what they haven't done yet? They haven't done Antarctica, and they haven't done Underground. So what about they use the same formula? There's like a lighthouse in Antarctica that guides planes in, and an airstrip, and then there's a under the ice city in Antarctica. And it would sort of be like ice punk and geopunk at the same time. So it would play on those underground city tropes, but it would also, you'd also have segments above the ice on the surface, and like vehicles and shit. That might be cool, right? And they could do space, but they already did that with the System Shock games. I feel like it's kind of just inevitable that we're gonna get a space BioShock game. Because that has more mainstream appeal. But that would be stupid. There's a billion fucking space games. That's played out. How many games take place in an underground city in Antarctica? If there's actually a bunch, I'm going to feel like an idiot. I already feel like an idiot. I mean, I have so much student debt, it's hard not to. They've actually been lowering the price. They've been saying they'll settle it for a vastly lower sum, and I wonder if it's some kind of trick. Because I could afford to cover that out of pocket. It's just, I don't want them to say, aha, you have money, and then litigate or something. Because that's savings. I need that to be there. And most of it's crypto. So it's not like they can prove I have it or trace it or get to it. And the thing is, I really don't want to take it out unless I have to, because it becomes taxable when I take it out. I mean, I guess now you're supposed to pay taxes on crypto holdings, but that's asinine because the value varies so much. It's like how much taxes do I pay on it if it's worth, if one Bitcoin is worth 7 grand today and 11 grand a different day? It should be treated as imaginary money, which is what it is until you cash it out. And then once you cash it out, it should be taxable. And if they don't like that they can suck my dick. Although probably if they don't like that, I'm going to prison and I'll be the one sucking dicks. Let me plug this hole. This is going to bother me if I don't. Where's my base? Where's my base? So I went and tried to play the keyboard and mouse monitor version of Minecraft, and man, did that feel weird and bad. I mean, I talked about it before, but I forgot how bad it is. Once you play in VR, this game in particular, for some reason, it feels just janky and awful. Like the view distorts all wrong around the edges of the monitor when you turn. You notice that where you didn't notice it before? Going from VR back to monitor gaming is not easy or pleasant. Like anal sex. According to a friend that I asked about it. At least I don't have auto smelters yet, but that just means I don't miss out on the experience points that you get from smelting. Maybe I should just not use auto smelters. Heresy, right? I need more coal. Do any of Trump's supporters really sincerely believe that bringing back coal and the coal industry is a good idea? You know what really gets me is when they complain about people saying anti-Trump things. Like, they can't imagine why anybody else would find him objectionable. I think they imagine every anti-Trump person is like a neon-haired social justice mutant. Because otherwise, if they knew that just regular decent people are embarrassed to have a retard for the president, they would second guess their choices. Boy, I sure am fucking glad I paid $600 to do this. Although nowadays the headsets are cheaper. The headsets are so cheap now. I feel like a lot of the anti-VR sentiment is rooted in outdated information. People still thinking that it costs... Like a VR-ready PC now costs about $1,000. $800 if you really want to go stingy and only do minimum spec, but you should future-proof a little bit and get a slightly nicer CPU and GPU. In which case it's about $1,000. And the headsets are like... They start at $200. You're more likely looking at $250 to $300. But that's like the price of a monitor, a decent monitor. People who think VR isn't going to be a thing are in for a big surprise. Once the resolution gets good enough and the field of view fully envelops all your vision, it's just going to be a default alternative to a monitor. I think monitors will persist in business applications where the person signing your paychecks wants to walk up to your desk and talk to you and see your face and know that they have your attention. But I think for home use, PCs are just going to go VR only. Maybe, maybe not. But it's hard to think of a way in which a very advanced VR headset is not superior objectively to even a nice monitor. Oh, cool, water. Have I penetrated into the ocean, in fact? Or is this just a... No, I penetrated into a sea cave. Awesome. Fucking awesome. Well, I don't know what to do about that. I guess this is an easier way to get access to a sea cave than trying to dive. I guess I got the coal I need. I don't really need to continue. This is such a weird concept, burrowing into the seafloor and yet coming up into a dry air-filled habitat instead of the water. That's kind of like deep water oil drills, though, kind of. They have to form a seal in order to get the oil out. Which makes you wonder if they could just put a sealed tube in the seafloor and then dig from there and have like a network of tunnels underneath the bottom of the sea. Or whether the rock would collapse. I feel like it wouldn't, because if the water can't get all the way around it, then you don't have pressure trying to crush it. Really activates the old almonds. So I was reading about South Korean citizens pushing back against immigration and saying that they don't want to wind up like Germany and France and other places in the UK being swamped with immigrants who don't speak the language, have no marketable skills, and claim to be coming on a temporary visa, but then claim asylum as soon as they're there so they can be in the country while the paperwork gets worked out. And that's cool. The pendulum is starting to swing the other way. I mean, when Buddhists, who are famously peaceful, get violent against Muslim populations in their countries, you know that they're not being unfairly maligned. They really do cause problems. Well, I have every oven going full power. This shouldn't take long. I only have 6 minutes left on the episode, though. I might just take some of it out prematurely so that you can watch me build some of the dome. I don't want this whole episode to just be mining and smelting. Let me get a look at the platform. Man, that's huge. That's not even full size compared to how big my domes usually are, and yet it's still fucking big. Let me try to go over here and get an idea of where else I can build. Can I extend? No, I can't. I can extend this way. Nothing prevents that. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking if I want more room to build, I could just build up. I could put a ladder in the middle of this module and have multiple floors and have it be like a tower. And that would give me more gardening space if I just wanted to farm multiple different kinds of crop. That would be a compact way to do it. Because right now it's kind of feeling just like a collection of hallways, which is not really my idea of an underwater base. Let's see. Let me just grab some of this. Get started. robbing myself of experience here, but whatever. I want you to be able to see something. I guess it's nighttime, but that doesn't really affect visibility as much as I thought, so I don't care. I miss when the bubble meter refilled instantly. It wasn't realistic, but it was extremely fucking convenient. Normally a dome of this frequency would have the longest side be only 3 units long. I think that's only suitable anymore for towers. Because how do you have a 5 wide hallway intersect with a round structure where the longest wall is 3 units wide without it looking horrible and janky? This is kind of the smallest diameter you can do with hallways like this. You learn a lot of useless things building underwater in Minecraft for a decade. Has it been? Yeah, I think it's been a decade or more. It came out in like 2009, so it's been like 9 years. It's an old ass game. It's still going strong though. I kind of get stuck on games. I played the shit out of everything, all to do with like Half-Life and Half-Life 2, like all the mods. I think everybody else did too though. I kind of miss that. I wonder which first-person shooter is going to be the next basis for the modding community, or if that's even really a thing anymore. I think instead of modding first-person shooters, now people just go and learn Unity, so they have more control over what they make. I kind of miss that because I like the familiarity of a shooter I already knew how to play, and seeing what people could do with it, with their creativity unleashed. I don't know why you had your creativity on a leash, freak. I'm not judging you, but I am a little bit judging you. Let's see. I'll try to have fuck all in the way of dirt. I'm gonna have to harvest way more dirt, but I think there's plenty of dirt deposits underground, so it's not really necessarily a show-stopping problem. There we go. That's everything I need in order to build the next layer of glass, and I'm going to leave the dirt there because I'm going to be filling it in with dirt anyways. I don't want to because that's not the fastest way, but they got rid of using leaf blocks as a purging material. I guess I could use wool, but how the fuck am I going to generate enough wool to purge domes of this size? Like have a giant underwater sheep farm or some shit? That's absurd. That's absurd. I don't want to hear any more of those ridiculous ideas from you. How do you even come up with this stuff? Is this gonna look good? I forget. I forget how this looked the last time I built one. I don't think it did look good. I think the weird number of sides was evident and hard to ignore. I appreciate now that the fast swimming feature makes you go down. So are you gonna get trapped in here and then I have to strand you? Do they die out of water? Like squids do? They shouldn't, they're air breathing. Can I trap a dolphin inside this dome with me and have him be like my air breathing indoor buddy? And just keep him hydrated at all times by pissing on him. Not for weird fetish reasons, just to keep him hydrated. You know, urine is sterile. It's like you should be. Oh, he's stuck in here. He's stuck all right. Oh, I really want to trap one in here now. I really want to see what will happen. Then again, how am I gonna purge the dome if there's a dolphin in the way? I really get tired quickly of hearing the gurgling zombies all the time. I wish they did not make those enemies so commonplace. It really sucks. Oh, I did too much dirt. Well, whatever. I'm going to fill the entire fucking thing with dirt anyway. It really doesn't matter. None of this matters. None of this matters, Fry Man. How come Carl never got his own spinoff of Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Because he was the best character on that show. By far. I guess I liked Meatwad, kind of. Carl was the real OG, though. It's starting to look ugly as shit. Is this the right answer? I think this is the right answer. I think it'll be 3 by 1. Which will be acceptable, I guess. This is a weird way to build a dome. I normally build them in a very different way. Yeah, it's 3 by 1. That's alright. That's kind of ugly, but it's okay. I think this is unavoidably what you get when you build a dome this size. Yeah, I'm trapping you in here, you son of... Trapping 2 of you in here, you sons of bitches. Don't let them get out. Don't let them get out. Oops. I'm drowning. Shit. Do I have a I don't have a shovel left. It's important these fuckers not get out of here. Oh, they got out. How are they so good at that? It's almost like they live natively underwater or some shit. I really wish I hadn't made that mistake. Did the other one get out too? Yes, he did. God damn it. Well, maybe it's for the best. No, he's still in here. Maybe this one will go in too. That's right, go in there. Go the fuck in there and stay. No, he got out. Oh. That could have been entertaining. Maybe I should wait until another one goes in there. Fuck, we're over time. I'm gonna keep going. I really wanted to trap a dolphin in here, but it's not looking like that's gonna happen. Maybe there's some other way to get them inside, like poking a hole in the ceiling and flooding it. Anyway, that's the dome. I got it constructed. I'm going to take a look from the surface, but I'm not going to drain it this episode because that's a big job and it'll take an entire episode just to do that. In fact, it may take 2. Could you fuck... Are you serious? There's 3 of them. Here. There's the small tree dome with the ugly rock on the seabed. That'll grow 1 tree. I'd like to do better than that, but there's just not room. I think once I complete the tree dome and the garden for growing food, I'm going to call it quits and start over on the new map. But I want to do justice to the space that I've built. I can expand one more unit this way. Nothing prevents that. I think I'll do that. I think I'll expand one unit this way and then make a farming tower right there. On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Or Matlock. Or what if there's a crossover? Dragon Ball Z and Matlock. Like Matlock is fucking investigating Capsule Corporation or something. Don't actually make that, please. Don't listen to my ideas.